Good morning, beautiful people. How are you all today? I am excited for today's live stream because we're going to be talking about a lot of different things and they all really tie together, and I'm really excited. I love when my live shows have like a theme and it all cohesively connects together, which is really, really cool. So I'm really excited for today's show, waiting for everyone to just jump in here. I appreciate every single one of you. If you're one of the people who clicked on this video after it's been posted, guess what? Secretly, you're my favorite. And the reason why is because not many people actually watch the videos after they're posted. So I always really appreciate the people who go back and rewatch the live streams. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff today. We're going to be talking about the phenomenon of when people say something really, really awful or mean or kind of low-key threaten something and then say, I was only joking, guys. Is it just me or do y'all not like those people? I can't stand those people. The people who are like, they'll say the most outlandish, disrespectful, disgusting thing, and then they'll just be like, oh my God, you can't take a joke. It's like, but you weren't joking. And we see this a lot with many different leaders in our country, in particular our president, where he'll say the most outlandish thing, threaten to take Greenland. Oh, I'm gonna take it, it's gonna be mine, it's gonna be fantastic. And then he's like, I didn't mean it, I'm just being funny, I'm just joking. And then all of a sudden it's like, you're not joking. So anyway, we're going to be talking about that phenomenon today. Please make sure to send some likes. I appreciate every single one of you. Please, when you jump in here, please make sure to turn on notifications when I go live, because I think that the algorithm itself is not really super favorable for me right now, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We gotta work twice as hard to get half as far in the realm of factual reporting. So we're going to be starting out today with a little bit of drama, and then we'll get into something more serious. That's how the show always goes. We start out with when you're waking up, getting your coffee, or I have green tea this morning, where you're just kind of getting ready for the morning, and we're starting with the lighthearted stuff and then go into the more serious. So, Elisa, hello! Akicha, good morning. So, let's start with all of this here. Please make sure to send some likes. I want to turn on some music so that oh my God, I can't enter in my password correctly. So that, it's not just quiet. So anyway, I want to start with this because things happen. I'm not here to make this into the big, gigantic news story that some people might want me to do. Things happen. Like, this isn't like me somehow being like, oh, this is disgraceful, blah, blah, blah. Things happen. Life is funny. It's meant to be a joke in some capacity. But for the fact that someone like Donald Trump can joke about other people, and then when someone jokes about him, it's like all of a sudden he goes absolutely berserk. That's the big crux of the live. So make sure to send some likes, tap the screen. We're at 27 people. Y'all are amazing. So let's just break it down here. A couple days ago, Donald Trump was kind of caught on a hot mic moment. I don't know if hot mic is the best way to describe it, but this article from Cafe Mom kind of starts laying it out, and we're going to break down everything here. People are convinced Donald Trump had an on-camera accident. You all may have heard about this. If you've heard about it, say so in the chat, yes or no. Have you heard about this whole instance? And if you're watching this back as a video, my boyfriend's name is on Mike. That's funny. Then feel free to say so in the comments. So this is what we know. White House officials quickly forced the press to leave the Oval Office. People think Donald Trump had an accident on live TV, and it's actually very common if this was the case for the elderly. So I don't want to get anything twisted. It's not uncommon for elderly individuals to lose control of their bowels when it comes to grandpa having an accident from time to time. it's easy to forgive him, right? Well, when it comes to the elderly president, Donald Trump, all we can really do is laugh at the many videos that surfaced of him allegedly, well, pooping his pants on television in front of a room of reporters in the Oval Office. Love that. There is a debate on social media about whether or not Trump actually pooped his pants until anyone admits it, who can say whatever the truth really is. However, there are users who are studying and dissecting the same footage of Trump in his office before people shoo reporters from the room. That's also a key part here, that they were ushered out very quickly. We'll get to that. I'm actually going to try to play the video for you on live, so we'll see how that goes. And many of them claim that there is a distinct noise, and some have alleged reactions from the people in the office that prove Trump had an accident. So that's an interesting thing here. It was the bubble guts heard around the world for Trump. So here's the thing. Before I actually get into this isn't me somehow trying to make fun of Donald Trump for these kinds of things. Literally, shit happens sometimes. It happens. It's not me trying to put him down like, oh, this is unprofessional. I mean, it is, but like these things happen. We're human. Hopefully all of us are human. But you know what I mean. The fact is, I want to point out the double standard here. That somehow Trump, our president, can make fun of people, can be rude and disgusting, and then say, I'm only joking. And then as soon as the camera is flipped around on him when he does something a little bit embarrassing or something like that, all of a sudden if you make fun of him or poke fun or say a joke, then all of a sudden you are the enemy from within. And see, as a person, whenever I see hypocrisy, I am one of the first people, I'm like, I'm calling that out. I don't care if the hypocrisy benefits or doesn't benefit me. I don't like hypocrisy. I think it's stupid. So I point it out wherever it is. So that all being said, there were a myriad of social media users that were highlighting this whole thing. Now, I'm actually going to try to play the video for you all here on live. I don't know if it's going to somehow not like that. We'll see. But I will be doing that. I just want to point this all out here first. If you're enjoying the video in the live, please make sure to send some likes. So there were several different users that were covering this. And I encourage that you go and check out the video yourself. And again, we're starting with the drama, and then we'll get into the more serious, substantiary information and commentary later on. There were many media users that were like, Trump really just, shot himself during a live press conference. They had to immediately shut him down or shut down the conference. They really ushered a lot of people out of there quick. And one of the telltale signs of this were the facial reactions and the nonverbal reactions from the people behind. So I don't know who this lady is, but she was like obviously kind of covering her nose. You saw when you watched the video that many of the people in the cabinet behind Trump kind of got a little bit uneasy. I mean, naturally, I'm gonna put myself in one of their shoes. Let's say, for instance, that I'm a part of a hypothetical Bernie Sanders cabinet meeting. And, Bernie Sanders, or whoever the president is, just saying, has some sort of accident. It's very likely that if I was one of these cabinet people behind me, I wear my heart on my sleeve, okay? It's funny because it's hard for me to hold in my facial reactions. So I would probably be back there being like, so it's hard for me to contain my reactions or my feelings in that sense. So let me see if I can play the video for you all here on live. This is me experimenting here. I don't know. Do you all know if somehow it doesn't like when I play a TikTok video over YouTube Live? I'm not quite sure if it's going to not like that. But we're gonna try it here. He wants a bigger audience to smell. Yeah, no. Okay, let me turn off my green screen here. Let me turn off the green screen. How do I do that? Here we go. Okay. I know that the camera is grainy. Hold on. Sorry, this is probably a very unflattering view. Okay. So I'm gonna turn up the audio here. Let's start with this one. I'll let you know when it happens.
Chemists are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going proactive on these new.
So it already happened. So it's very quick in the video.
New opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going.
So you're gonna hear a little noise, and look, I'm not making fun of him. I'm just pointing this all out here, and I'll talk about the double standard that comes in later. And I'm sorry, do you want me to turn off the LED lights? It's fine, whatever. But you can see very shortly into the video, probably like 3 seconds in, you will hear.
Opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going proactive.
And the thing is, look at the facial reactions of the people behind here. Look at the facial reactions. I'm gonna play the whole video through.
Are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going proactive on these new chemicals.
That's good. I hear fantastic things. Thank you all very much. We really appreciate it a lot. Thank you, Oz. He's doing a fantastic job. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, please. Thank you.
So
Mr. President, can you respond to the new thought?
that all happened, and very shortly he goes, thank you, Oz, thank you all very much, you can leave. And just watch how the press ushers them out so quickly. The woman's obviously covering her nose.
Poll that says people think ISIS and tactics are too aggressive. Thank you guys for supporting. We got cameras. We're going. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. Are we gonna flip it?
Chemists are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going proactive on.
So you can see how, no pun intended. So you can see how fast they ushered everyone out of the room. They didn't even allow for questions, anything like that. And this happens very shortly into the video. Let me show you another one that this one's really good. This one gives a visual reference. Okay.
Are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up.
The graphic shows when he does it, and just listen for it. Let me turn it all the way up.
Are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going.
You all hear it? Let me do it one more time, and then I'll play the video through.
Are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going
Visual
proactive
reaction.
on these new chemicals.
That's good. I hear fantastic things. Thank you all very much. Please. Thank you.
Mr. President, can you respond to the new Fox poll that says people think ISIS and tactics are too aggressive? Thank you guys for supporting. We got cameras. We're going. Thank you guys.
So
Are coming up with new opioids faster.
you can see how they really were going super fast. They're like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. Let me show you one more, and then...
Yo, I kid you not, it looks like Donald Trump pooped his diaper on live television. Now, I didn't really believe it when I saw that headline either,
Same.
but there is a video, and I really don't know how to describe it if he didn't just, shart, really. Basically, he's signing executive orders at his desk like he normally does, and then there's a loud sound that sounds like a fart. Then the people behind him start having some kind of, reaction. It's very subtle, but this lady in the green starts, covering her nose. RFK Jr. starts looking nervous, and then an aide pops out and they're like, okay, no more questions, everybody get out. Now, speculations of Donald Trump wearing a diaper are very, very old. I don't even know if they're speculations at this point. If you look at certain photos, you can tell that he's wearing one. And also, to be fair, is this hyper relevant to the country that we live in, where secret police are snatching brown people off the street and sending them to private camps? Not that relevant. But number one, people think Trump is cool for some reason, so it's fun to remind people that he is actually a feeble old man. And also, again, he's a feeble old man. I don't think that the most powerful job in the world, the most important job in the world probably, should go to someone that can't even keep it inside their butt. That's my opinion. Yo, I kid you.
So that's the main thing I really wanted to also point out. Like, this is all fun and games, but I also, my whole point here is how Trump can joke about other people. He can say, oh, I was only joking. I was only joking. Sorry, let me turn on the green screen. Hold on. I was only joking. But then all of a sudden, hold on, let me turn my camera back around. This kind of thing happens, and then he will just completely explode in anger. Maybe not the best use of words, but you know what I mean. So all of that being said, let me go back to breaking this whole thing down, and I want to read out some comments here. You can audibly hear it in the video. And I definitely encourage you, go and check out the video. You might not have been able to pick it up on live because of the recording. I also don't have the best setup in here, but you can audibly hear it between, on this specific video, between 33 seconds and 36. He's probably got a colostomy bag. My grandmother had one. You'd hear fart sounds as she relieved herself. Oh, they caught it and moved so quickly to evacuate that room for privacy. It's kind of sad, actually. And again, the press really were moving quickly. And this person's like, did he blame Biden or Obama? Biden crapped my pants. So let me give you a couple more. Donald Trump, oh my God. I would never be able to keep a straight face. Well, girl, I can never keep a straight face. I got gay face. He goes, towards the end of the video as he finishes his full release. I cannot confirm whether that actually happened. That'd be funny though. The way they're trying to get the reporters out of there so fast so he can change his diaper. There's no NDA that would keep me silent about this. I cannot wait for SNL this week. If you turn up the volume, you can hear it, and the lady in green looked at him when she heard it. Yeah, so again, this is a close-up picture of her. So yeah, just pointing that out. And you can see RFK looks very uncomfortable with it because they're right behind him. So well, before I really go into the segue here, of course, no one attached to Trump has confirmed that's actually happened. They would probably get fired or let go, like, I don't know, like a fart. They'd get let go from the office, from their position. It's safe to say no one would ever admit if this were true. There is a sudden movement from one of Trump's officials. However, as she quickly moves in front of him as he is seated at his desk and does her best to wrangle the press to make them leave. You know, the context makes a lot of sense. Others have pointed out they believe Trump's health is on a decline if he really is having trouble with his bowel movements. And that's also another thing. This isn't necessarily me trying to just poke fun at him. Like, this is a guy who jokes about other people and says rude things. So, you know, I'm gonna let go. I know, right? So I'm going to also talk about it, you know? And this also just shows another symptom of his aging. The same with Joe Biden. This kind of thing would also be just as funny with Joe Biden. Like, I am not above covering something like that. I'd be like, ooh, honey. So the big standard that I want to point out is how Trump will say the most absurd, disgusting, rude things, then claim that he's joking. He kidnapped the leader of Venezuela. And he's like, I just did it. He joked about wanting Greenland and then actually tried to go about getting Greenland. He joked about canceling elections. And now his DOJ raided Fulton County in Georgia for 2020, an election he can't get rid of. Joking about canceling elections when he was the one that inspired and motivated a cabal of his supporters to storm the Capitol to overturn the election results. So this whole idea of saying something or doing something outlandish, then being like, I'm only joking, that's the crux of the hypocrisy that I want to point out. That is the core part of the live stream and the video that I want to put out today, is the fact that there is this huge hypocrisy and double standard that you can do outlandish things, say outlandish things, then try to avoid accountability by just claiming, I was only joking. And then when the camera is flipped around on you and you are in the hot seat and you do something a little bit funny or embarrassing, and then all of a sudden people come after you or poke fun at you, then it's like you go scorched earth. He criticizes and tries to defame and sue media companies for coverage he doesn't like. That's some dictator type shit. Now, there's one thing to go after something based on substantive stuff, but based on just, oh, I don't like what they're saying, yeah, that goes against the First Amendment, that goes against people's freedom of speech. It's crazy to have such a whiny, narcissistic billionaire literally shitting all over the country. Just saying. So that's the big thing I wanted to point out today. And speaking of Trump's health being in decline, I also was like, wait a minute. Thinking about declining health, these kinds of things happening, I want to point out, Trump hasn't gone golfing recently. Now, you could say, oh, well, it's winter, Scott. Duh. Duh, he hasn't gone golfing. Well, you can go golfing in other places around the world. Like, internationally, you can go golfing at places that aren't in the United States, where we're dealing with very, very cold winter temperatures. So I want to point out that there is actually this source here called Trump Golf Tracker. And they had this at the top here. And again, if you're enjoying the live or the video, please make sure to like the video or turn on notifications when I go live. I love all of you so much. Until further notice, golf days will not be updated unless a confirmed sighting of Trump on the golf course occurs. The Trump administration is actively narrative crafting information to hide Trump's declining health, including his published schedule to discourage media questions. Now, this whole thing is actually really fascinating. You can see Donald Trump has golfed 93 days out of 381 days since returning to office. That's 24.4% of his presidency spent golfing. That's about a fourth of his presidency he has spent golfing. That's huge. Like a fourth? That having a visual reference of all of the days. And now you could say, oh, well, golf is not a whole day's worth thing. Well, it does take up a substantive amount of time. I've been golfing before. It takes up some time, you know? But that all being said, these are the days in January. Obviously, there have not been any days where he's gone golfing in February. But just looking at past trends here, you can see, he went golfing for a lot of days. And you can see December, there's November, and, you can see October. He likes to go golfing on the weekends, which makes a lot of sense. But the fact that he hasn't gone golfing in a while is really interesting. So that kind of adds to the possible questions about whether his health is in decline. So to wrap this all up in a little bow, it's very possible, and I would say pretty evident, that he had an accident on live TV. And this also confirms a lot of what people have mentioned or have been saying from the time that he was on The Apprentice. There have been moments where in official meetings, like even with Dianne Feinstein, remember that really old senator from California before she passed? Yeah, there was a moment where Trump also literally let go during that meeting. And I encourage you go and check out Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk. He did a good breakdown on all of this, and he plays the audio. Anyway, to tie it all up in a little bow, it seems that Trump is having some issues health-wise. This is not shocking or surprising. The big conundrum is the fact that he can joke about other people, but he cannot be the butt of other people's jokes. I didn't realize. Oh. I didn't realize how that sounded when I said it. Oops. But you know what I mean. So anyway, I love all of you. Please make sure to send some likes. Let's move on to another part of this. Speaking of jokes, let's carry onward. So there's this thing happening a lot in our culture in regards to the internet, online trolling, or they can call it gaslighting, where you can say something incredibly offensive, rude, derogatory, mean, prejudicial, and then say, I was only joking. Like, I was only just trying to be funny. I was only just joking. Yeah, but you weren't. And it's really annoying on a mass scale, especially when it comes to things over the internet. Or you can see it probably on lots of live streams. My past live streams have a lot of this, where people will say, I'm only joking, I'm only joking, I'm only trying to just be funny. But it's like, you know that they're clearly being serious. And this is the thing. These highlight a lot of narcissistic personality traits that basically hijack the purpose of comedy, where you're laughing together, not at someone, but with others. And there is a fine line between that kind of insult comedy and just absolute bullying. And our president does not know that line. And in fact, uses and exploits that gray area to then push for radical things. For instance, he jokes about wanting Greenland. Do you all remember when he would post things to his Truth Social like this? Wanting Canada. Oh Canada. Oh Canada. Or this, where he's like, oh look, it's the United States. And then many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits. He's like, I'm only joking. But like, Canada is like, this is not funny. The fact that you keep doing this and you keep talking about it over and over, yeah, it's not a joke. Or when he says that he wants Greenland, well, he was like, yeah, you know, I'm not gonna use force. Then was like, I might use force to take it, This is the thing. If you're gonna make a joke, make it funny. Not make it threatening, okay? You can joke about how orange Trump is. Be like, yeah, if Trump was the flavor of chips, he'd be a Cheeto. Like, that's funny because he obviously goes and gets lots of spray tans. You can even joke about me. Be like, oh my gosh, why do gay guys always have to sound like they're super, super sassy? Or you can joke about me. Be like, oh, he is so southern that he sweats like honey and whatever. That was weird. He's so southern that he probably has a stash of fried chicken in his fridge. Like, yeah. You know, those kinds of things are funny, where you're laughing with people, not at people. Or but the thing is, when people joke and then they say, when they say something awful, derogatory, rude, drama-seeking, disgusting, and then say, I'm only joking, that's not funny. And it's really annoying. And it's very prolific with our American culture right now. It's really prolific. And you could even say that that's gaslighting. That's an element of gaslighting that happens quite often within specifically politics now. Because politics has become based on a lot of drama. And that's the big crux of today's live, is the fact that a lot of these people who do this kind of stuff have basically ruined comedy. So we need to reclaim that back. So do you all understand what I mean? Do you all understand what I mean? Please make sure to send some likes if you're enjoying the live stream. But let me continue onward here. Where was I? This was another joke recently that I wanted to highlight. Trump was simply joking about canceling the election, Caroline Leavitt says. So this was a little while back while I was out on my vacation, on my hiatus. But this was really worth mentioning here. So Trump at one point literally said that, when you think of it, we shouldn't even have an election because we've accomplished so much. We might not even need to have elections. And of course, Caroline Leavitt, always lying, wearing a cross around her chest, completely disrespecting the entire notion of Christianity for anyone who are good-hearted, loving Christians. But she of course was like, he's only joking. Asked about a comment President Donald Trump made earlier this week about canceling U.S. midterm elections, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said, quote, he was speaking facetiously. So my question is, how do we know when Donald Trump is serious versus when he's joking? Here's the thing. You don't. And that is low-key kind of terrifying and dangerous, especially for a leader with so much power. Oh, he's clearly joking. So he's joking when it has negative consequences and he wants to avoid accountability, but then he's serious when it's obviously something that people like. But there's no delineation or actual standard or rubric of any sort of thing that you follow to actually have consistency. So your politics is just trust me, bro. Whenever Trump says something offensive, you can be like, oh, he was just joking. Trust me, bro. Really? Sorry, do you expect anyone who is a journalist to then be like, oh yeah, I'm going to take your word for it? Like, what the hell? No. So Leavitt's like, the president was simply joking. He was saying that we're doing such a great job. We're doing everything the American people thought maybe we should just keep rolling. Pause. Critical thinking pause. Put the shoe on the other foot. Let's say that Karine Jean-Pierre was trying to cover for Biden, saying that maybe we should just cancel the elections. Here's the thing. If it was that scenario and Biden was joking about canceling elections, to me, as a Democrat, I'd be like, no, that's not funny. Because, like, if you're going to make a joke, make it funny. Canceling elections is not funny. Like, it just isn't. That's just one of those things where you're joking about taking away people's voices and rights to vote in their leaders. Nothing about that is funny. The same way that there are people out there who think that constant insults, but that you're also serious with it. You're like, oh, I'm just being funny. I'm just joking. No. You're just using that as a ploy to avoid accountability. You know, when you were in school and you would see or be on the receiving end of people bullying, and they would say rude things, mean things, disgusting stuff to you, and then they'd be like, I'm only joking. And then you're like, ha. That's what our president does. He jokes about wanting to be the president forever. He jokes about wanting to be a dictator. And then he moves to do things about that. Be like, I'm only joking. That's the definition of gaslighting. We, as the American people, are being incredibly gaslit by this pooping dictator wannabe. It's a jab. Oh, you're like, oh, it's a jab. Really? So tell me, how do you know when Trump's being serious versus when Trump is not being serious? And is that even a quality that we should have with a leader? I'm sorry, I don't want our president to try and be a comedian. I want a president that's going to do the job, get shit done. Not in the way that Trump does it, but you know what I mean. So it's frustrating. Now, of course, all of this being said, there was a reporter that then asked, like, okay, so do you think canceling elections is funny? So Andrew Feinberg, who is the Independent's White House correspondent, followed up by asking by asking like, hey, do you think that this is supposed to be funny? Like, you said he was joking about canceling the elections, but Americans for generations have fought and died for democracy. For this democracy, are you saying that the president finds the idea of canceling elections funny? And Caroline was like, Andrew, were you in the room? No, you weren't. I was in the room. I heard the conversation, and only someone like you would take that so seriously and pose a question in that way. So we're just supposed to believe you. Your evidence to this reporter's question is just, trust me, bro, I was there. These people who have this like, trust me, bro, kinds of responses to critical questions from the press is just so fucking stupid. Ooh, I see we have a super chat. Rolling Stone says, quote, I'd rather attend Carrie's actual prom than see Melania. Siskel and Ebert said, glad they're dead and don't have to see it. Oof. I have not even seen the Melania movie, and I'm really not interested in doing that. Unless Melania talks about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm not interested in what Melania is doing. She barely is interested in what she's doing, so I'm sorry, I really don't care. She doesn't do much. She doesn't. Anyway, so just saying. Back to the joking about canceling elections bit. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you all. Someone said, doesn't it matter if someone is gay? What? What? These people. Anyway, back to this. He's joking about canceling elections, being like, everything is so stellar, everything is so great, we've accomplished so much, maybe we don't even need to have elections. In fact, maybe we shouldn't have elections. And then Caroline Levitt is like, he was obviously being facetious. He was joking. Andrew, were you in the room? No, you weren't. I was in the room. Just trust me, bro. Sorry, but trust, I will give people trust as a baseline. But as soon as you do things to then undermine that trust, sorry, you don't get it. You don't get it automatically. I'm sorry, I don't trust Trump. This is a guy who whines endlessly still about oh, I won the 2020 election. Like, dude, he cannot get over that. He can't get over it. He motivated his supporters to storm the Capitol on January 6th. Do I think that he's just joking when he says he wants to cancel elections? Absolutely not. How can anyone be like, oh yeah, just trust him. Oh, he's just joking about it. Also, if you're one of these MAGA people, don't you find that kind of insulting? Trump is saying that you don't need to worry about using your voice in elections. We should just cancel elections. You know that also, if you're saying cancel elections, that means cancel elections for not just general elections, but like primary elections. Meaning you can't even choose the Republican that you want. See, this is also the thing. These MAGA people are throwing away their agency, the ability to run their own lives, to have their own say. You're giving that away for a whiny billionaire. Why? You're giving away the crux of what it means to be an American. Canceling elections doesn't just hurt the woke liberals. No, it hurts you. It hurts everyone. Like, it's so frustrating. And this gets into the crux of everything that I'm highlighting with this idea of, as soon as you say something that is disgusting or deplorable, prejudicial, then you'd be like, oh, I was just joking. You do that as a way to avoid accountability. The same way that a bully will say rude things, and then when questioned about it, or then when confronted, like, oh, that's not okay, you can be like, oh, I was just joking. So somehow there's this immediate default that as soon as you admit, oh, I was just joking, that all of a sudden you're kind of like off the hook for that. If someone starts saying really, really homophobic, nasty, rude things to me, making fun of my friends or my family or my community, or making fun of someone with a speech impediment, then all of a sudden be like, I was just joking. It's like, were you? Or are you just saying that to try and avoid accountability because we as a culture have decided by default that whenever someone jokes that somehow that avoids repercussions? My guy is zesty. Yes, I am. At least I got flavor, unlike some other people. But you see what I mean? That's the problem, especially within politics. This is intertwined into politics so much that I, as someone who covers journalistic content, now has to talk about it. Zesty, crispy, but still in point. I think you mean on point. But moving onward here with moving onward with more stuff. The idea of, oh, I was just joking. It's like, yeah, like about canceling elections. Send this to anyone who tries to tell you that voting doesn't matter. If voting didn't matter, then they wouldn't be trying to take it away from you. Let me get to some other comments here. So, yeah, also, so if a citizen boasts about wanting to unalive the president, then they can just tell the Secret Service, no, I was just joking, y'all. It was a joke. You can't take a joke. And that's the thing. Trump can say the most deranged, deplorable, disgusting stuff. Then all of a sudden him or his lackeys will then say, oh, he was just joking. He was just being facetious. You know, he's just known for saying outlandish things. Sorry, but that's not going to skirt accountability. If you say something disgusting, you deserve to apologize to that person. And see, it's frustrating. It is incredibly frustrating to have to undergo this. When will people wake up and actually just look at it for what it is? Continuing on more here. That's the thing about bullies. They always say that they're just joking. In reality, they're just testing the waters to see how much they can get away with. Y'all know people like this? Stop blaming and pointing fingers, look in the mirror, and fix yourself, and the world will reflect change. Exactly. And that's why I talk about empathy all the time on my live streams. That's why I talk about wanting to love everyone, think critically about stuff, and then act with empathy. Put yourself in other people's shoes. You just got a new sub, Scott? Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. But this is what a lot of bullies do. In reality, they're just testing the waters to see how much they can get away with. And that's exactly what Trump does. He'll joke about wanting to take Greenland. He'll joke about, oh, I'm gonna be the president of Venezuela. Then he goes and kidnaps the leader of Venezuela. Like, you can't say that you're joking if you're actually doing it. And that is the frustrating part. You cannot try to avoid accountability by claiming it's a joke when you're actually just doing it. We as Americans deserve better. They're okay with abusing women and children, but then they draw the line at rude lyrics, or you could even say rude comments towards Trump. You see what I mean? And also, a lot of things within current events are not a joke right now. The more files that are coming out about Jeffrey Epstein, the connections that he had to so many people, to so many powerful people. Like, let's just use a hypothetical. Bill Gates is someone, the CEO of Microsoft. He is in the Epstein files. He, along with Howard Lutnick, Bill Clinton, of course Donald Trump, many other people are in them. Elon Musk is in them. We talked about that yesterday. Let's say that Bill Gates were to be like, oh, I was just emailing Epstein as a joke. I was just going to the island as a joke. Imagine if Bill Gates were to say that. No one would believe him. No one would believe him. I sure as hell hope you would not believe him. You'd be like, oh, I was just emailing back and forth with Jeffrey Epstein as a joke, just trying to be funny with it as a joke. Or Elon Musk. Let's just say that he was like, oh yeah, it was just a joke. No, it wasn't. And like, if Bill Gates were to say that, would you believe him? I wouldn't. I would not at all. So whenever someone is saying, oh, it's just a joke, but then there's evidence to the contrary, don't put yourself in the position of looking like a fool and somehow wanting to agree with that person to shield them from accountability. And so, or like Larry Summers is another person. Imagine if he were to come out and just say like, oh, me emailing Jeffrey Epstein, it was all just to be funny, it was all a joke. It's not funny. And it's also happening. And you're like, oh, I wasn't being serious. Yes, you were. Was it a joke when Elon Musk was emailing Jeffrey Epstein about wanting to visit the island when his kids were opening Christmas presents on that day when he emailed? Christmas Day? That's not a joke. Imagine if these people were to say, oh, it was just a joke, it was just a joke. So with that logic, you would say no. Okay, so why is Trump canceling elections somehow a joke? It's not. And the reason why you do say it is because you're a part of a cult. You've given your brain away. You've decided, elected to be devoid of all critical thinking. You have decided that you are just going to follow what Trump says, even if it literally goes against things that you claim are your morals. It's the most un-American thing to do is to follow a dictator, and that is what MAGA is doing. Elon was begging to go. He really was. He really was. Is it a joke that more Epstein files have come out like this? Oh, thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. Of course, I don't know who this was from, but that was one of the Epstein files that recently came out. And Trump is like, oh, well, the latest Epstein files absolve me. No, they don't. You're just as guilty, even if more. But he likes to claim, oh, it was just a joke. Everything with Trump is a joke until he does it. And then he's like, oh, well, it's still a joke. And Trump is just a troll. That's really what he is. He is a professional narcissistic troll. During the craziest party or whatever. And I really want all of you to also share this with your communities, your friends, your family. I don't think that we talk about the joking aspect as much as we should. The fact that Trump will claim that he is just being funny or facetious. He was like, oh, I wasn't serious. I was just joking about being a dictator. And then he posts pictures looking like a dictator. It's not a joke when you actually do it. I was just joking about canceling elections. Meanwhile, his DOJ raided the Fulton County Elections Office in Georgia with his CIA Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, there. It's not a joke if you actually do it. So, we the American people are on the receiving end of endless amounts of derogatory jokes taking away our rights. And that includes MAGA. But y'all are like, and it's really annoying. We as Americans deserve better. Unless I guess you're a glutton for punishment and you vote for these kinds of things. It really frustrates me because as someone who wants good for all people, regardless of whether you agree with certain things about me or what I believe in, it's just, yeah. It's frustrating because I want good for people. So let me move on to the last little bit, and then I do have to get going. He'll joke about being the president of Venezuela. He'll joke about being the president of Venezuela now that he kidnapped Nicolas Maduro, whether you like him or not. He jokes about affordability being a con job by the Democrats. Sorry, that's not a joke. The fact that people are struggling living paycheck to paycheck is not a joke. He'll joke about wanting Greenland and the Panama Canal, or joke about wanting Canada, or he'll joke about canceling elections. When him and his supporters literally stormed the Capitol to try and overturn the elections. And this gets into this here. People who say that they are joking when they aren't often use this as a defense mechanism to avoid accountability for mean, manipulative, narcissistic behaviors, allowing them to express aggression while maintaining a nice persona. This tactic stems from insecurities, a desire for control, or attempt to deflect negative reactions to harmful comments. Key psychological reasons for this behavior include gaslighting and manipulation. It is a form of emotional manipulation designed to make the victim doubt their own judgment or reaction to a hostile comment. That is also another big thing. Trump is trying to somehow bend reality to making us doubt ourselves, doubt whether it is important for us to vote in elections. Manufacturing doubt in that way is really dangerous. Manipulating other people, manufacturing that doubt, and then trying to avoid accountability by claiming it's a joke. These are all things that can lead to be preconditions for an authoritarian takeover. And I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but we've seen it throughout countries. And that's the thing. If you are a leader and you manufacture doubt in people's mind, like maybe we shouldn't be voting. Maybe we should just let Trump be the ultimate leader. And there are many people who are farther along in that process. They call themselves MAGA. You see what I mean, though? You see what I mean? So he likes to be like, oh, I'm a nice person, stems from insecurities. So continuing onward, there also is a level of a defense mechanism. That person may feel threatened or insecure and uses joking as a shield to avoid confronting their own negative, aggressive, or trolling behavior. Sound like anyone? Or narcissism and a lack of empathy. Individuals with low agreeableness or narcissistic traits may use this to feel superior by putting others down while avoiding the consequences of their own words. Like, for instance, when Trump makes fun of disabled reporters. Or when he jokes, oh, I could shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and not lose any votes. These are the kinds of things where he'll claim he's joking, but then he actually does it, and then shit hits the fan. It also shows narcissism, lack of empathy, but also social masking, and allows individuals to test the boundaries or express socially unacceptable, hostile, or prejudiced views under a guise of humor. And avoiding conflict. When a statement causes offense, claiming it was a joke is an easy way to de-escalate confrontation, regardless of the original intent. Like, another thing, was it a joke for Trump to post on his Truth Social the back design of some guy's truck showing former President Biden just hogtied in the back? Oh, I was only joking. I was trying to be funny. You're doing that to avoid accountability. You know these people in your lives. Take it out of a political context. Let's say that someone is making fun of your physical appearance. Maybe someone is making fun of your physical appearance to an extent where you're like, okay, it was a little bit funny, and now you're just being annoying and joking. And now it's actually exhausting, and I need you to stop. You could do it about someone's appearance. about someone's weight, about someone's ability. If you're disabled or not able to do things, like, you see how it can get really annoying. You can see how it gets really annoying. And there's this immediate given that as soon as someone says, oh, I'm joking, that all of a sudden it kind of absolves them. I think that we need to be very critical and like, no, you're not forgiven. It's not a joke. You clearly don't mean it as a joke. Trump clearly didn't mean it as a joke when he said he wanted Canada, because he tried to take it. He clearly didn't mean it as a joke when he said he was going to be president of Venezuela, because he kidnapped the president of Venezuela. He clearly said, oh, I just want Greenland. Oh, it's a joke. As you try to literally take Greenland. Only will other leaders stand up to you that you actually decide to stop. You joke about canceling elections, yet you stirred up your supporters to the point where then they tried to take the Capitol building by force. So, moving onward, it's also a form of internet trolling. Are internet trolls just bored keyboard warriors? Or do they actually cause harm in society? Psychologists reveal the narcissistic and aggressive traits that drive trolling behavior. If you spent more than 5 minutes on the internet, chances are you've run into a troll. There have been several on this live stream. Not the under the bridge kind. These trolls lurk under Instagram stories, Reddit posts, YouTube live streams, feeding off chaos in your stories and in your comment section. Ooh, yes, I see a super chat. Hold on. I don't know how much you know about UK politics, but Nigel Farage, who supports Trump and is friends with Trump leader of his party in Wales, was convicted and is in jail for taking Russian bribes. Why am I not surprised? Nigel Farage, is that his name? Y'all go and check him out. Convicted. He's connected to Trump, friends with him, and has been convicted and is in jail for taking Russian bribes. Look at that. I would not be surprised if Trump is also doing that. Just personally saying. I don't have any evidence, but I would not be surprised. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for that. Continuing onward. But an internet troll might post hot takes about how reading is a waste of time, make up drama about your favorite celebrities, or just insult other users. Sound like people we know? Maybe some people in the live? But who are these trolls really? Are they bored teenagers with too much time and a love for chaos? Or are they really doing something darker brewing behind those anonymous usernames? And that's also the thing. Trump is basically trolling America. That's my take. You can disagree with it, but Trump is trolling America. Joking about taking away elections and our rights to vote? Yeah, that's a troll. And then you'd be like, I'm only joking. Please, you are not joking. If you were joking, you would not have motivated your supporters to storm the Capitol. If you were joking, about 2020, you would not raid the Fulton County, Georgia's election office. You were not joking. Thank you all for the super chats. I really, really appreciate every single one of you. I really, really do. It means a lot. Y'all are incredible. I could not do this without y'all's support. I really, really could not. It means the world. All this being said, an internet troll is someone who intentionally and aggressively harasses people online with disruptive, offensive, inflammatory comments. They might derail serious conversations by spewing insults. Geez, sound like anyone we know on the live stream? Constant trolls that come in here. Overwhelm movies or products with negative reviews. Repeatedly deny obvious facts. Or intentionally post wrong answers in Q&A forums or spam comments in live feeds. Interesting. If you've ever been trolled online, you're not alone, and you're not imagining the malice. While trolling might seem like mostly harmless way for someone to blow off steam, psychological research says otherwise. According to Miller, trolls can often exhibit deeper, darker traits linked to antisocial behavior, aggression, and cyberbullying. Good to know. course, we know what cyberbullying is, a form of online harassment, spreading insults and threats. And this all sounds exactly like what Trump does. He posts the most absurd, crazy stuff on Truth Social. He posts things that are meant to be inflammatory, insulting other people's appearance, insulting other people endlessly with name calling. There's a whole Wikipedia page built specifically just about Trump's names for people. Like, Trump is the biggest troll of all time. What this also ends up doing is antagonism is a personality dimension or scale that measures how people relate and behave within society. People with high agreeableness tend to be more trusting, honest, and empathetic, while people who score higher in antagonism score lower. Trolling behavior often reflects low agreeableness. It includes behaviors like lying, manipulating, and seeking to harm or provoke others. Huh, sound like anyone? Sound like anyone? Sounds like Trump. Just saying. Agreeableness dash antagonism is also strongly correlated with sadism, which suggests that some disagreeable individuals experience pleasure as a result of causing others pain. And this is what is dangerous. There are people out there who think that it's funny in some capacity to be obnoxious, rude, drama-seeking, all of that stuff. I encounter it all the time, daily on my live streams, or just within my content. And personally, it's annoying, but also, this is not the kind of behavior that we need in a country. Like, look, if you're one of these people that's like, why is everyone so mean and rude and nasty and disgusting to each other? Ask yourself why you might be someone that does that kind of stuff online. Before you're like, oh, why can't people just be nice? My question is, why can't you just be the example? You know? Like, and that's the thing. We elected someone that really showed this kind of behavior. So it's obviously something that a lot of people in America somehow don't think is a problem. I'm sorry, but I think excessive amounts of trolling to the point where you're like, oh, it's just a joke, it's just a joke. No, it's not. It does a lot of harm. You are like anti-empathy. Imagine being someone who agrees with somehow being anti-empathy. Being unable to place yourself in other people's shoes. Caring about the plight of other people. And I'm sorry, but I don't think that it's okay for our society to be going down this route of thinking that putting down other people or being obnoxious for the sake of being drama-seeking to feed an algorithm to then stroke someone's ego is a good thing. I also don't think that it's a moral thing. And if you're someone that claims to be religious in some capacity and somehow claim to be following the word of whatever religion, and then think that you're somehow a good person if you endlessly participate in this and don't see it as a problem, I'm sorry, but you are one of the biggest hypocrites of all time. Look at the situation itself and ask if you have been misled. I view MAGA as victims of this exact thing. MAGA, you are victims of this kind of manipulation. You are on the receiving end of endless amounts of antagonism and jokes. They're trying to take away your voting rights from you. That's what Trump wants, to take away voting rights from everyone. He wants to be an ultimate leader. He wants you to be a cog in the machine that benefits him. And it's just exhausting living in a society like this. But good thing is, we can fight back. We can say no. We have the power, y'all. It's nuts how they lack any compassion, 100%. Some people will be like, Scott, why do you care so much about things that don't affect you? I'm like, I'm sorry, was I supposed to not care because it doesn't affect me? Am I supposed to be like, oh, it doesn't affect me, so I'm not gonna care about it? Like, you really think that somehow I elect to be an awful person that only cares about things that benefit me? And see, that's the thing. Empathy is a muscle. And it's time for people to go to the gym with that. You need to go to the gym and care about other people. It's not easy. You're like, oh, it's exhausting having to care about other people. I get it. But also, it is what I think is necessary in this world. To care about things that don't just affect you, but affect everyone. And the fact that there are people out there like Trump who will say, I'm only joking about taking away voting rights from people. Oh, I'll just cancel the midterms. Everyone loves what we're doing. And then someone says, oh, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. No, it wasn't. It was not a joke when he kept lying about 2020, claiming that he somehow won the election, because his DOJ just raided the Fulton County Elections Office. It wasn't a joke when he kept trying to take Canada or Greenland. It's not a joke when he ends up saying, oh, I just want to be a dictator. Like, it's not a joke. This kind of internet online trolling is dangerous. And we as Americans need to say no. 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 And the fact that when someone will say something awful and then claim, oh, it's just a joke, it's just a joke, don't just give them the immediate benefit of the doubt. Don't. Don't do that. Because they're clearly not joking. They mean it. So that's pretty much the live today. I need to get ready and go to work. I appreciate every single one of you. If you appreciated that breakdown, then please make sure to smash that subscribe button. I really, really appreciate every single one of you. I really, really do. Y'all are amazing, even if you don't like me. I don't hate anyone. I really don't. I just think that we deserve better in this country. And y'all are amazing. I could not do this without my moderators. I really couldn't. And I'm so glad to be back too. I'm really glad to be back and seeing everyone in here. And I also just want to say, like, really big shout out to my moderators. My moderators have to read and filter out so much of what we were talking about today. And I also want to point out that a lot of the endless amounts of negative comments that sometimes you might see in a live stream like this are also bots, robots that people have programmed. And I've talked about it before, but I might do it again, where bot farms, right-wing bot farms, are a huge problem. Yeah, a narcissist jokes are just a boundary test. Exactly. They want to know how much they can say or do to then poke your buttons to get away with it. We love you, Scott. Oh, thank you. We love you. So shout out to my amazing moderators, Elisa, Akicha. I appreciate every single one of you. Ellie, you're amazing. Cherie, Kate. I cannot do any of this without you all. What other mods were in here today? I think those were the main ones. So anyway. Oh, thank you, Earthflower. Younger people here need to listen to you. Oh, I appreciate that. I just stumbled into this world. Hello. I appreciate all of you. I do have to get going because I need to get ready for work. But I love all of you so much. I will be live tomorrow morning. If you enjoyed this live stream, please make sure to smash the subscribe button. Also, turn on when I go live. I aim to go live at 8 a.m., 8:10, in between there, Eastern Standard Time in the mornings, and then I'll go live for about an hour. And then I have work at 10. So I appreciate every single one of you. Just remember that you are beautiful, you are loved, you are valid, you are strong, and you are fierce. Don't let anyone or anything ever dim your shine. I love all of you so much. Bye!